We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that.
If you have enough data on a person, especially biometric data, and if you have enough computing power, you can understand that person better than the person understands himself or herself. And then you can control this person, manipulate them, and make decisions for them.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants,
It's the stuff of a Hollywood movie, but a group of veterans has filed a lawsuit against the CIA and U.S. Army, claiming that the government planted remote-controlled devices in their brains. The claims relate to a government program at the U.S. Army's Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland.
Guys, if your assessments here are correct, these are very covert weapons, aren't they?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things.
And that's the way the program works. It's why it's called Satan, silent assassination through adaptive neural networks. This is considered a weapon of mass destruction of both minds or of populations. We can incite wars. We can, we get our redacted intel by dream programming and extraction. There are 100 uses that we've been using it for, and so they would never, government would never allow this technology to be used by some criminal organization outside of their control. Which is, again, neurological weapons, but improved, and can cause heating of organs such as the brain and cause traumatic brain injury, which is, again, we get into detail more important in rewiring the brain and making them into robotic slaves, if you will. You can make them agitated, you could make them sleepy, all sorts of emotions.
Electronic mind control research is not new. A scientific milestone in this area came in the 1960s when Dr. Jose Delgado demonstrated remote control over a charging bull. By connecting a radio antenna to electrodes inserted into the bull's brain, Delgado proved that the animal's aggressive impulses could be thwarted by electronically manipulating the bull's muscle reflexes.
Do you realize the fantastic possibilities if from the outside we could modify the inside? Could we give messages to the inside? But the beauty is that now we are not using electrodes.
In recent years, Delgado has shown that the behavior of monkeys can be altered using low-power, pulsating magnetic fields. But in these experiments, there were no antenna implants.
Any function in the brain, emotions, intellect, personality, well, could be perhaps modified by this non-invasive technology.
It depends on their program. What are they being programmed to do? Just die, or go on a killing spree in a school to change gun laws, what is their purpose ultimately? And I wouldn't know that without interviewing them and if they had voice to skull. So the strategy that we use, in the secret agencies, I see my own work from 25 years ago just now becoming new with the civilian sector scientists. And so what we do is we test it, we see all the warfare capabilities, we use it in secret, so it's confusing to whatever people we're using it on. And the strategy is to suddenly show, wow, we can communicate with brains and we can cure all this mental illness, while in fact it was a weapon to create every type of mental illness, to discredit future politicians or to eliminate whatever dissenters we wanted to. So yes, that's exactly what's going on, is it's being leaked to the public sector. So it's a parallel reconstruction of what we already did, and then they can pass laws and regulations. But they don't want the public to know all the atrocities of menticide and genocide we've used these types of weapons for.
And then the other is, it's not just a very disturbing high-pitched noise, but there might even be voices or a message, a continual message that people have been victimized by.
Dr. Alan Fry, a biophysicist at GE's Advanced Electronics Center, Cornell University, and a contractor for the Office of Naval Research, discovered in 1958 that the auditory system responds to electromagnetic energy in a portion of the radio frequency spectrum at low power densities, well below that necessary for biological damage. The human auditory system and a table radio, he said, may be 1 order of magnitude apart in sensitivity in a portion of the radio frequency spectrum.
We've even got our own Navy doing it, excuse me, to towns in Oregon and Nevada and some other places. Now you got to remember, human experimentation on our own population has a very, very long list. And we don't, as American citizens, we have pride in our country. We don't want to believe that we would be betrayed in such a way. And so they give us options. It's aliens doing it, it's demons, it's the Chinese, it's the Russians. But unfortunately, the Department of Defense, our Department of Defense, has almost $1 trillion in black budget and warfare equipment every year. And they have never warned U.S. citizens about these weapons. Why do you think that is?